Welcome! In this video, you will learn how to reconcile DayLite reported time in NPAWorks. This feature, called the RDRT for short, can be used to review all appointments where the guardian has reported a different time than the scheduled appointment time. Once the appointments have been reviewed, the user can choose to leave the appointment as is, use the reported time, use the scheduled time, or create a payroll appointment. The RDRT will make the changes to the schedule for the user once it is finalized. To gain access to this feature, the CodeMetru support team will have to manually give permission to selected user roles. On the main toolbar of NPAWorks, you will see an icon that looks like a calendar with a horizontal strip across the middle and a pencil. Click this icon to open the Reconcile DayLite Reported Times window. The RDRT has a number of filters or fields that you can use to narrow your review of appointments. The first field is your agency, or office. By clicking the icon to the right of this field, you can access a list of agencies within your organization. Here, you can select which office or offices you would like to include in your results. The next field is your appointment date range. This filter can be used to narrow your search using a specific time period or a specific date. You can use the black arrow buttons to change the month you would like to view, or you can click the ... icon to select a more specific range. Next, we have funding source. By clicking the icon to the right of this field, you can access a list of funding sources to select from. You can select one or more options from this list to include in your results. The client name field allows you to look for appointments based on a specific client name. Simply type the first or last name of the client into the field to filter your results. The same goes for the staff name field. This filter allows you to look for appointments based on a specific staff member's name. The Include Non-Rendered Appointments box allows you to select if you would like to include non-rendered appointments in your search results. The Guardian Reported Duration filter gives you the option to search for appointments with a duration that is longer, shorter, or the same as the scheduled appointment. You can always clear your selected filters by clicking the Clear Filters button. The Search button will search for all appointments within the filters that have been entered. Once your appointment filters have been set and you have clicked Search, your results will be displayed. Here you have the ability to select one updated option for all checked appointments. You can choose from the following options. Save the appointments for future review by clicking Ignore. Update the scheduled appointment time with the Guardian reported time by choosing Use Reported Time. Retain the original scheduled time by selecting Use Scheduled. You also have the option to individually designate an action for each checked appointment. The option selected will be saved for audit purposes and is included as a new display column called Reconcile DayLite Reported Time on the Appointments Admin Flex Report. In addition, you have the ability to create a payroll appointment for the difference between the scheduled duration and the Guardian reported duration. This may be useful when the scheduled time is to be updated with the Guardian reported time and the Guardian reported duration is less than the scheduled duration. An example of this would be if the therapist arrived late because they were caught in traffic. The service time needs to reflect the Guardian reported time, but the therapist needs to be paid for the additional travel time. This may also be useful when the schedule time is to be updated with the Guardian reported time and the Guardian reported duration is greater than the scheduled duration. An example of this would be if the therapist had to stay late because the Guardian was not available. The service was not provided during the extended time, but the therapist needs to be paid for the additional time. Let's now review the rest of the columns on the RDRT. These columns can be rearranged by dragging and dropping to best suit your needs. Any variance from the scheduled appointment to the Guardian's reported information is indicated in green. The Subject as Scheduled column contains the subject line as shown in the appointment. The Reported Duration Variance in Minutes field reflects any duration variation between the scheduled and reported appointment times. The Reported Unit Variance column reflects any unit variance between the scheduled and reported appointment length. The Scheduled Service Date, Scheduled Start, and scheduled end columns show the date and time that the appointment was scheduled. The next two columns, scheduled duration in minutes and scheduled service time in minutes, will show you the scheduled duration and service times of the appointment. The scheduled units field indicates the amount of units in the scheduled appointment. The next columns, beginning with Guardian, are to be used to compare the originally scheduled appointments to determine your next course of action, including which update options should be selected and if a payroll appointment is needed. These columns will show you the service date, start and end times, appointment duration and service time, and units in the appointment as reported by the Guardian. The next column will show you the reason that the Guardian selected the time difference. This can also be found in the Appointments drop-down menu option in DayLite. The Guardian's comments will populate this column here. Please note that the Guardian's comments will also be automatically entered into the office notes of any created payroll appointments. The next columns will give you the timestamps and geolocations of the Guardian and therapist signatures for the appointments. Now we have the student and staff names and the name of the service. Next is the type of time column, which indicates if this appointment is scheduled as regular time, makeup time, or comp time. Here you can see if the appointment was rendered, followed by the funding source, unit size, rounding rule, billing code, and special calculation associated with the appointment. Once you have reviewed your appointments and checked the appropriate options, click on the Next button in the lower right corner of the screen to move on to Step 2, Preview. This step lists the appointments that you have selected to update by choosing Use Scheduled or Use Reported Time. It also lists any new payroll appointments that will be created. In this list, the white fields indicate all the information that will remain as scheduled and will not be affected by the Guardian's reported information. The blue fields indicate the payroll appointments that will be created. Please note that the subject line on the new payroll appointments will be the same as the scheduled appointment that it is associated with. Also, the reason for the different time, as well as the Guardian's comments, will be displayed in the office notes of the payroll appointments. The pay code on the new payroll appointment will display as the default non-service pay code for that employee. The pay code can be edited within the appointment if necessary. The green fields indicate changes to the appointment that will be made per the reported time. Once you have reviewed the preview step, you can choose to go back to Step 1 by clicking on the Back button, or you can move forward by clicking on the Validate button. You can also choose to cancel the process altogether. All appointments that need to be updated, including the new payroll appointments, will be completed once the scheduler clicks the Validate button. This will finalize the RDRT process. Should you have any questions, please contact your account manager or the NPAWorks support team at 877-796-9883 or via email at support@codemetro.com.